Well, friends of Mundo Maldini, we are going to analyze the possible central defenders that Real Madrid might sign. We are going to dive into the market with the friends from Wyscout because it is true that Real Madrid needs to sign, and right now it seems like they might not sign. It is possible that they won't. We will see. But it is clear that they need it. It is an obvious fact, and that they are active in the market is an obvious fact, and that this man, Carlo Ancelotti, needs it is an obvious fact. So what we are going to do is the following. We are going to 2009 to tell the Wyscout machine to talk about get me central defenders, and we will analyze them. We are going to analyze a lot of central defenders. What could be, what could not be. I believe that all of this is something you like us to do. So what we are going to do, friends of Mundo Maldini, is go right here so you can see how it works. And I tell the Wyscout machine to tell me here, you can choose any position you want. I tell it central defenders, but I will also specify a bit more and tell it to remove these two, meaning central defenders in the three positions. Exactly. That is not something similar to a fullback, although it is true that a central defender fullback would also suit Real Madrid very well. We will analyze that later. Because if I say, let's also tell it here, not a fullback position, but yes, a central defender who can play a little on the right side. So we are going to click here and tell the machine to filter players and see what happens. Come on, let's go. Well, this is something Jude Bellingham always does, friends of Mundo Maldini, and here we have it very close. He calmly looks up there like this, right here behind, so that this is the camera that will focus on Nabi. I am Hakimi, one of my favorite players. I have no hesitation in admitting it. I am Hakimi, this player who is coming out here now, inspecting the field, to see if he greets anyone from Barca. Let's see. Curiosity. Pablo Torre is also around. For now, more will come here at the one of the classics of the champions is that many times we have to be careful because the irrigation system might turn on. Well, let's go, friends of Mundo Maldini. I told him to show me the current season and all competitions. That is the current season and all competitions. So let's take a look here. I have just the buttons to choose exactly. Here we have the list that it offers me on the first page. There are 29,990 players. Don't worry, we won't see them all. There are some that seem impossible, like Ruben Diaz, like William Saliba, like Guardiola, for example. Araujo too. Gabriel Magalhaes seems like a good possibility, Baston, who is left-footed. To me, Cuti Romero, and I've said it quite a few times, seems like a very interesting possibility. Let's click on Cuti Romero and analyze a little more in depth what Cuti Romero could be. Friends of Mundo Maldini, here we have it. Already Cuti Romero, here he is right here. Well, let's see some qualities. He is a player that I like a lot, 26 years old. And, well, here we see that he is right-footed, of course, which I think is something important for Real Madrid to be right-footed. Not essential, but important. And here's 2009. If we click here, for example, opponent tackles quite well, passing accuracy quite well. Notice that he ranks quite high in passing accuracy. Here we have, for example, this is the length of the passes. Well, of the passes, that is, he is not a player with great long passing, far from it. That is important for Madrid, to have long passing, and especially to have good ball distribution. He is a player who is very aggressive, commits quite a few fouls, aerial duels, well, quite good in aerial duels. I think interceptions are also quite good. Cuti Romero seems like a very, very reasonable possibility. Very, very reasonable. Let's continue. Looking at players. Friends of Mundo Maldini, here we have him, and let's go for Cuti Romero. Well, you get Militao himself, obviously. You get Bremer, who is injured. You get De Ligt, Van de Ven. I really like this player. Mickey Van de Ven. 55 million is the market value according to Transfer Market. But really, Mickey Van de Ven, here you have him, is left-footed. I think that left-footed players are not of interest to Real Madrid at this moment, although Laporte could very likely sign Ben White as well. I like Ben White. He is a good profile because he is a player quite used to playing both as a right-back and as a central defender. So if we click on Ben White, we will see exactly why I think Ben White could be quite interesting for Real Madrid. Here we have Ben White, friends of Mundo Maldini. Here he is. Well, we see that in fouls quite a lot. Quite good. In aerial duels, he is very strong. Let's look at completed dribbles. Well, and then he is quite weaker in key plays, in crosses, logically. In percentage of crosses, passing accuracy, quite good. Technically, Ben White is a good player. Technically a good player. I think he is a good profile because you can see that he plays as a right central defender or as a right back. In fact, this season, he is playing as a right central defender in 10% of the matches and as a right back, as you can see here, in 80% of the matches. Although as a central defender, Ben White can perform quite well. The option of Ben White is also quite reasonable. Let's look at some more players. I like Colwell because he is very good in aerial play. Pavard, well, Lisandro Boltman, Scalvini is a very good player, but he is currently injured. However, I think Scalvini is also a player of a high level. Calafiori, nothing. This one, nothing. Kim Min-jae, nothing. Tapsoba, 2001 with At seems to me a good central defender as well. Honestly, yes, he seems like a good central defender. Then regarding Gonzalo Ignacio, let's see, it's 45 million for Gonzalo Ignacio, but he is also left-footed. I don't think Gonzalo Ignacio is a signing that Real Madrid could attempt. Let's look at another page, Friends of Mundo Maldini, because here we have a player that I do think is interesting. And you will see it now, which is Lukeba. Here we have him, Lukeba from Leipzig. The thing is, Lukeba is also left-footed, but I do think he is a position. He is a quite appealing player from Leipzig, 21 years old, Lukeba. Hincapié is also left-footed. I love Hincapié, by the way. I love Hincapié. As for the rest, well, Disasi from Chelsea, Tomori from Milan, well, Tomori from Milan could also be a good option. Aguer from Real Sociedad is playing. He is showing a very high level as well, of course. Konsa from Aston Villa is also a profile that I think in terms of being able to play as a right back, here you have him as a right back or as a centre back could also be a quite interesting profile. English international, the player from Aston Villa, we are going to see now. We will look a bit more in depth at Konsa. Let's take a closer look at Konsa. Friends of Mundo Maldini, here he is. Well, he has a pretty good passing accuracy. You can see he is playing a lot as a fullback, 51% of the matches as a centre-back and 42% as a fullback. Then in some matches, he has been swapping positions logically. Passing accuracy is quite good. You can see it here. Regarding aerial duels, well, average, not too good, but I find the fact of accuracy in ball distribution, passing accuracy, to be very important. And precisely because I find it very important, a player that I think would be great for Real Madrid is Thiaw. We will talk about Thiaw later. But let's continue with the list provided by Friends of Mundo Maldini. Here is the list. Well, we have Todibo, Simakan, William, Pacho, a player I love, but he is also left-footed. Kosonu, who is at Atalanta. Janko, who is one for Atletico de Madrid. You can see that the market value is decreasing already. Luxo, this is nothing. This Esos Eos. This is really a fullback. Zavarny from Bournemouth. He is a centre-back that I have always liked quite a bit. Zavarny, the Ukrainian from Bournemouth. And then we have Christian Mosquera from Valencia. This profile of Mosquera is also very interesting. Jonathan Tah, watch out for this player because the possibility of Jonathan Tah is also quite serious. Let's go a little deeper into Jonathan Tah, Friends of Mundo Maldini. Here we have Jonathan Tah, and we have, for example, you see, passing accuracy is quite good. This is a good profile. He is 28 years old, right-footed. He has hardly played as a fullback. He has played in a three-man defense. You can see it here, 72% in the center of defense, and 14% has played on the right side of the three-man defense, but not as a fullback. That needs to be made clear, but very good in ball distribution, very good in long passes, quite good in aerial duels, a very interesting profile. I believe that the concepts that Real Madrid would surely be most interested in, watch out for Thiaw, because I do think there could be a quite serious possibility there. Then if we continue, Van Dijknar, Beraldo, Skriniar, Kivior, Badia, Sile, I was talking about Thiaw, who will surely be offered to us by the market now as well. Let's continue in any case. Let's continue Friends of Mundo Maldini with Gomez from Liverpool. Well, already Boscagli, Zuma, Fabinho. Here we have Mario Hermoso, who has been mentioned, by the way. Mario Hermoso, Vivian, I think is a very good centre-back, Vivian. Watch out for Vivian, who is already a spectacular centre-back for the Spanish national team. And watch out for the possibility, because it seems to me that he is a centre-back for a long time, for many years, very complete, practically in everything, Vivian, practically in everything. Friends of Mundo Maldini, let's take a closer look at Vivian. Passing forecast, less than Jonathan. But look, long passes very well. Very good concepts in practically everything. Tackles, fouls, and also aerial duels. I think that's what Vivian might struggle with a bit more. But notice that he tends to go quite a bit to the right side. Player, a quite interesting profile for Real Madrid as well, regarding Vivian. Let's keep looking at some more. I know you like this. I know you really enjoy using all of this. For example, Danzo, here we have him. Now we're going to talk about him. Danzo from Lens. Because of the Euro Cup that the Austrian had, I've always liked him quite a bit. Here we have him. A central defender in a three-man defense at Lens with a market price of 25 million. Let's take a moment to look at Danzo as well. Let's take a moment to look at Danzo, friends from Mundo Maldini, to see exactly what Danzo could bring. Here we have him already. Let's see, Danzo is very good at interceptions, and he is very good in aerial duels. He is spectacular with his head. He is spectacular with his head. Then he struggles quite a bit in ball distribution, in passing accuracy, as you can see here. He is already struggling quite a bit in long passes as well. What he has on one side, he loses on the other. That is to say, he is very good in the air, but it is true that he is quite worse in ball distribution. I think Madrid needs a centre-back with good ball distribution. That's why I was telling you about this man, Thiaw. Thiaw seems good to me. He seems like a player of the highest level. We read recently at the Bernabeu, and look at Thiago. Look at what I was telling you about passing accuracy. Fantastic in passing accuracy. In ball distribution, he is the best there is. We saw it at the Bernabeu. He mixes aerial duels in the 90 minutes, perfect, and passing accuracy and long passes. That is to say, I think he is a centre-back profile who can also play on the right in a three-man defense and can adapt quite well to right back. For me, Malik Thiaw would be my man. I say it. I have no idea what is going to happen. There is a lot of talk about Apor, of course, but he is left-footed, Yusan. But for me, Malik Thiaw would be my man. I know he is at Milan, but I think for a market price of 25 million, here you have it at market price. In theory, then we already know that if it's Madrid that goes for him, they will ask for much more. But at market price 25 million, seems like a bargain to me, honestly. If that is the price, and then if we continue, we already have Aitor Paredes, Carlos Augusto, who is Zuro from Interusen, Harwood Bellies. I think if we go much further ahead, we will start to see centre-backs that are more complicated because they drop a lot in level. They drop a lot in level. In theory, then there are players who can perform, but they drop a lot in level, the level of price. We are at 20 million. Kalulu, Adravioyo, Mavropanos. I think Ruggeri. Ruggeri is also a good centre-back. Ubri is also a good centre-back, but he is left-footed, but he usually plays on the left. And from Atalanta, I like quite a bit. Faiz from Leicester. Well, here we are already lowering a bit the... Anyway, we have talked about quite a few centre-backs. I stick with Thiaw Malik, Thiaw from Milan, but let's see where Real Madrid goes. If they go for any, that's another thing. A hug. Bye, 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 bye.